Hi there, I'm Daddy Satan. He, him in drag, she, her out of drag, and I am here with...
Doom and Cooper.
Yes! So, why don't y'all introduce yourselves? Tell us about you and your pronouns, please.
Hi, I'm Cooper. I use he, him pronouns.
And Pups Doom, I use he, him pronouns as well.
Tell us about yourselves.
Yeah, so we're just silly little dogs. Yeah, we're involved in the pup scene here in Phoenix, Arizona. We're also kind of well integrated into the drag scene, so we spend a lot of time with drag queens and drag kings.
Yeah, we really just like exploring like the creative spaces in Phoenix, and we are dogs.
We actually just got out of your show. Do you want to talk about your show?
Yeah, 100%. It was awesome. It was at this little venue called King Pigeon, and yeah, I played live music for people, and honestly, I was very happy with the turnout. I was very happy with like the support from like all the different parts of the community. It felt, I don't know, it like warmed my heart. It was great. It was a fun
Yeah!
time.
Good job!
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you for being there.
Absolutely, thank you for having us. In this series, I not only interview drag artists, but people inside the drag community, and I found y'all lurking around the Instagram drag community from Arizona, learned a little bit about you, and liked what I saw. So why don't you tell us, how did you get into the drag community here in Arizona?
So we've only lived in Arizona for about a year, a little bit over a year, and I was a drag performer for a long time when I was younger. And like we said, we kind of like creative spaces, we like queer spaces. So when we moved here, it kind of felt natural that we were compelled to support drag here. We ended up going to a show called Ego Death, which you can find every, I think, first Sunday at Cobalt. And that's hosted by Juno and Mikkel. And I think that as we became regulars at that show, we just kind of integrated into the scene. And we like to support queer art. We love to support queer creatives. So it kind of goes hand in hand, right? Like all the different aspects of queer community. So as kinksters, we like to support queens and trans artists and all the different variations of art that exists in our scene.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's been really special, and as someone who has developed like a deep love for that through his past experience in those scenes and like introducing me to them, I'm just like, I love the people that we've met, and I think it has been such a wonderful like conduit to like find community. Yeah.
How did y'all get your pup names?
So for Doom, I think that I don't know, I've always been attracted to like things that are punk and things that are like cool, like, and hardcore like that. So mine was just kind of like, oh, I like that, like, I like how that sounds. His story is a lot more interesting.
It's not interesting, it's just specific. Mine is a Twin Peaks reference.
Oh.
It is, I mean, I could talk for 24 hours on Twin Peaks. I just love it so much, and so it felt very appropriate to take something from that.
I love it.
And it fits as a dog name, so.
I have yet to watch it yet, but I've heard only good things about it.
There's only good things to say about it, in my opinion.
That is nice. How did y'all get into the pup scene?
Yeah, so for myself, it was kind of the pipeline. It was the drag to pup pipeline. So when I did drag, my drag was very alternative, and it was very rooted in kink and like leather and BDSM. So I actually met a puppy, and I acted as his handler like in drag. So I'd use him like on stage, and we would kind of perform in that kind of BDSM space. I even got like a puppy tattoo like before I was even a pup. So then I think that eventually like that pipeline was kind of like, oh, like I kind of want to know what that's like. So I bought a pup hood, and I just really enjoyed like the headspace of it. Like I think that in my everyday life I am very serious, and I do very serious work. So for me it was kind of like this space where I could kind of just be a dumb dog and enjoy like what that means for me, which is like just being silly and like having fun and barking and like just all the good things that you love about dogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, so I've been a pup for I think 10 years at this point. And truthfully, when I first got into it, it was more of like a formal thing. Like it was more about the kink and like not so much about like the social aspect or building community, but when we met, and I mean we met like as pups, it kind of exploded that for me, I think, and exploring like the social side of what being part of like a special community like that is has just been super cool. But that's kind of, I think, the journey that I took to get where I'm at as a pup.
Nice, very cool. Can you describe to us the pup alternative of a drag family?
Yeah, of course. So for pups, something that's similar would be like a pack. So sort of in the way that obviously in drag families you have a drag mother, a drag father. A lot of packs have like a pack alpha or alphas who kind of act as like the leader of that pack. In puppies are interesting because it is kind of different from person to person. So for some of us, it is very kink-centered. So what that can mean is just like a dominant in like a sexual like way. But for a lot of us, it also means family, right? So we actually have a beta. And for us, even though we do have like a somewhat romantic and sexual relationship with this person, it is also about guiding him and loving him as chosen family.
Nice. Anything to add?
Not especially. Just shout out Nico.
Yeah, shout
Good
out to our beta puppy Nico.
It's just been wonderful, like experiencing like chosen family in this way.
Yay! Do you remember the first time you got into your puphood, and can you talk about it?
I think that the very first time I was spending time with a friend named Ryan who was actually living in El Paso for a little bit, and he was a pup, and he lent me a pup hood, and we went out, and I remember just feeling so happy, like to be out with like a pack of pups. Like I think it was like 4 or 5 of us, and we were out for Pride that year. And it was just such a liberating experience. I absolutely loved it. From that moment forth, I was just like, oh my God, I love this.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, I think so. My first hood was this like weird, really bad, like floppy thing that looked nothing like this. So I don't think like the first time I put on a hood was like anything particularly crazy for me because it was really in the confines of my like college dorm.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I first like got a hood that I've like worn out and like really felt something with was probably 5 years ago, and it was a hood that a total stranger bought for me, and was like, yeah, I just think you'd look good in it. And it was awesome. It was wonderful. It felt like the gift that I needed at that time, that just like came from nowhere.
Nice.
And I mean, it like opened so many doors for me in terms of like growth. And I could tell pretty much right away that like had the potential to be that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they were both meant to be.
100%.
How long have you been a pup?
So at this point, I am going on about 7 to 8 years, give or take. Yeah, it's been a while.
Nice.
And I've been a pup for I think exactly 10 years-ish. Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
After all your experience being a pup, what does it mean to you?
I mean, I think that at least my puppy play is very still rooted in like kink culture and community. I just think that as queer people, exploring our sexuality is just extremely important. I know that there's like a big shift in like making like, oh, like being gay or being queer isn't about sex, right? But I think that for myself as a gay man who like is in my 30s and who kind of experienced that like very direct homophobia about like gay sex and like what gay sex means, I think it's really important for me to like hold on to my sexuality and to be proud in the type of sex that I have, you know? I think that it's special to share that with community and to kind of be proud of like the degenerate dog that I am, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think that that's a big part of being a pup for me.
Yeah, visibility is sacred.
100%.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, similar in a lot of ways. I think that a big part of my being a pup, you know, it entirely was at first and now still is, like, kink is very important to me as a pup. And I do see that as part of, like, my pup identity is, like, finding power in, like, radical queer identity. And also, I mean, it means a lot to me. Like, at the end of the day, like, having the hood and, like, being a pup has allowed for so much, like, personal growth and, like, finding meaning in, like, social community that I didn't have before. So, I mean, it's come to mean a lot to me, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about getting into the pup character? Is it putting on the hood, being out? What is it for y'all?
Honestly, like, this is gonna be silly, but it's definitely going out and interacting with, like, our drag friends or the dolls or whoever, and, like, having them, like, see us as, like, dogs, you know? So, like, they all, like, call us good dogs, and, like, they pet us, and, like, they pat us on the head and give us scritches, and, like, I think that that's just, it's cool because it kind of, like, reaffirms this huge, like, family that we have, like, as a queer community, right? Like, we're just, like, the household dogs in the scene, so I love that. I think that's my favorite part of it all.
I love that too.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, so I think part of it for me is, like, the act of putting on the hood, where I truly do feel like I am able to just kind of code switch into a different headspace once I put it on that is really, really enjoyable for me, like, regardless of the context. But I do look forward to, like, finding every opportunity to wear it out that we can find. Even if we're not around, like, the people who we know and love and consider, like, our friends and family here, like, I feel a sense of, like, happiness towards being able to have, like, pride over that, like, radical queer identity, and, like, showing it to the world.
Hell yeah. Do y'all have a dream event you want to be a pup at? Or something that would just make that event 10 times better if you could be a pup at it?
I mean, honestly, we've been to a lot of things as dogs, so I think that I just love being in queer spaces. I do have, like, I know this might be, like, cliche, but I really want to go check out, like, Amsterdam nightlife. Specifically, I want to check out Brooklyn. I think that, like, the whole, like, lore behind, like, this techno club that's, like, super exclusive is so funny to me because, like, I think, like, straight, normal people, like, are like, oh, like, this club didn't let us in, and I was like, yeah, because it's a queer club, you know what I mean? Like, it's made for weirdos, it's made for degenerates, it's made for dogs. It's like, so I think that, like, kind of finding the root of, like, those kinds of spaces, like, I really enjoy that. So I think that's the kind of space that I want to go be a dog at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that the one that has, like, 3 to 5 hour long waits to get in?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and they reject people at the door, like, depending on, like, what the vibe is with the door person.
Nice.
But my understanding from, like, we have a couple of friends who are, like, European dogs who, like, live out there, and it's just a queer space. So I think that they try to make sure to curate it to be a safe space for queer people.
Nice.
And I think that for a lot of straight people, like, they can't even comprehend a space that's just specifically for us,
Because
right?
the world is theirs.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you see it with gay bars across the country all the time that are, like, supposed to be gay spaces, and, like, you have the bachelorette party, and, like, you have people grabbing on Queen's hair and all those things. And I think that, like, queer only spaces are something that's so important, especially in a world where, like, queer people are, like, feeling unsafe, you know?
Yeah.
So
Bring back the gay porn, hardcore gay porn on the walls in the bars to freak out the straight people to keep them out.
100%.
Get out of here!
100%.
Yes, we support that.
Yes. How about you?
I mean, same. I think we are at a point where we feel comfortable enough going as dogs to most anything, even if it's not, like, related to that in any way. So we've done that a lot already. I mean, obviously, I have, like, dream places that I'd like to go, and I would like to go to them as a dog, like Workheim. And just, like, I mean, there's different, like, events that would be fine to go as a dog to that I do want to go to as well, like Folsom and all of that. I want to explore those types of spaces. But in terms of places where it's not really, like, realistic to go as a dog, I don't have anything in mind. I think we found that comfort with it.
Hell yeah. What is the hardest part about being a pup?
I think that part of it is, like, the misunderstanding, right? But I think that kind of happens when you're kind of on the fringe of anything, right? Like, there's still people who don't really understand drag and don't really understand why somebody would want to do drag. And equally as much, there's, like, people who don't get specific types of drag, right? Like, I think for yourself as somebody who does alternative drag, I think that you probably meet people who are like, oh, like,
You're not doing Lady Gaga today?
Yeah, like, I don't get it, you know? And I think that happens with us also, you know? I think that a lot of people, like, see it and they're like, oh, like, those people, you know? But I also, I kind of like being on the fringes. I mean, I've always been kind of a weirdo, so even when I did drag, like, I was always, like, the weird queen of the bunch, because I lived in Texas and everybody else wanted to do, like, sparkles and pretty, and I was like, oh, like, I want to pull out some guts, you know? So, I don't know. I think that if I had to pick the hardest thing about, like, being a pup right now is, like, the new, like, immersion of, like, pup, because I think it kind of has blown up on a mainstream level, like, so, like, you just see a lot more pups, and although I think that it's really important for spaces to be accessible, I see it kind of the way that I see drag, right? Like, I think that once things go mainstream, like with RuPaul's Drag Race and stuff, it kind of loses a little bit of that really cool, gritty, like, underbelly, like, punk rockness to it. And I really enjoy that part of, like, kink life. Like, I like being, like, a degenerate. Like, I'm like, I don't want to be accepted. Like, I like being punk, you know?
Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
You?
I would say the hardest part for me probably is what you initially mentioned, which is, like, reactions to it. I think, at least recently, that's been the hardest part for me. I mean, so I had my show today, like, invited, like, coworkers and, like, people who didn't know I was a dog to it, and I had to, like, preface it with, like, by the way, this is what I do. And I didn't like the tension I felt, like, just within myself over, like, the need to be like, I need to explain this to this person so they don't walk in and be like, what is happening? And I mean, everyone reacted fine, but I'm just like, I don't like that anxiety of, like, you know, will they have some way to accept this in their mind or, like, be respectful of it or not, because you just don't know nowadays. And part of that doesn't matter. Part of that is something that I think I'm actually good at, like, not dealing with, or, like, not having to deal with. But I would say that is the hardest part for me, is, like, finding, like, peace in the fact that some people will have reactions and some people won't.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid, and in fact, I think it's so great what y'all do, being visible regardless of all of that. Even though it can be so difficult at times, you doing it makes it so much easier for everybody else too. And, like, people always say, like, for example, Yuri Thrall, he's always like, I'm just being myself, whatever. Like, you don't understand, being a weirdo in front of other people gives everyone else the opportunity and the acceptance to be a weirdo themselves. And, like, I had to see Juno and Mikkel first before being like, oh, I can dress shitty on stage. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I love you.
Oh my God.
No, but, like, seeing alternative artists gave me the opportunity to be like, wow, I can actually do metal and somebody's going to enjoy that. Like, it's not all having to be Lady Gaga, or it doesn't all have to be this. The queer community is only a rainbow because of all of the colors, and I am not a rainbow gay, but I understand the concept. So thank you for your visibility.
100%.
What would you tell a lone pup out there who may be scared to get into their puphood for the first time, or don't know how to find community?
For sure. I mean, I think it's just about, like, kind of pushing yourself out of the comfort zone and going out there, because most pups start off that way, you know. It really is just going out there, and somebody will bark at you, somebody will ask if they can pet you, and I mean, that's what's really cool about this community, is that it is a really big community now, and people are looking for their pack, you know, like, they're looking for people to connect with, and they're looking for good dogs to, like, hang out with. So it's really, really easy to find other puppies and befriend other puppies and to just make community. I mean, we do it here all the time with the people that we meet, you know. Like we just see a cute dog and we're like, oh, like you're a cute pup. And I think that's what makes being a pup special, is that it really connects people in a way that you can't even imagine.
That.
Yeah, I mean, I think that social media is really like a double-edged sword, but it is powerful in terms of like finding community within like a niche space like this, and specifically like finding where the events are to then push yourself out of your comfort zone and turn that into like a reality, into something in person. I think, yeah, it's just a matter of finding the events and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to go to them, because it is such like a social community that people will talk to you and you will find friends, you will find what you are looking for pretty consistently, I would say.
Yeah. And as a caveat to that, I mean, we're from El Paso, Texas. I think it was population 6 dogs when we left there.
Yeah.
And we just made a social media account and like we started following people, and it just kind of happened for us, you know. Like next thing we knew, like we have like all these friends across the country, and every time we visit Austin or Houston, or when we would visit Phoenix, or wherever the case may be, like we would see people that we knew, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, you're those dogs that we follow each other." And like it's just social media, like you said, it is a double-edged sword, but it is a really good place to kind of start off and kind of just follow people that you like what they stand for, you like what they say, and then you'll start attracting those kinds of people.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the first time we met?
I don't remember our first interaction on the internet. I think the first time we met was at Club Contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subculture. That was an interesting night.
That was an interesting night. I was living my best like preteen life because I got to see Uffy that day. And Uffy, for those of you who don't know, was like a MySpace artist in the early 2000s. One of those like first people who kind of had that electronic sound. A precursor to things like Charlie XCX. And she had my MySpace song for the entirety of my MySpace like time. So it was just a full circle moment. I got to like see her, and then she messaged us on social media, and it was just awesome. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Peak night.
100%.
Anything to add?
No, not really. I was gonna say
You were there too, weren't you?
I was there, but to be totally honest, I don't remember it in as much detail. Yeah.
No biggie.
Yeah.
I was not memorable.
No, I have a horrible memory. I'm really bad with faces. I find dogs easier because the color combinations make people easier to identify if they have like ones that, you know, I mean, because everyone has like the same color hoods, but also there's a lot of really unique stuff. So I find I'm really bad with faces. And I mean, at this point, obviously, like we've seen you enough to where I'm like, oh well, yes, of course.
Yeah,
like,
now you can't get rid of
yeah.
me. No, you have no idea how many people that are close friends where I'm like, I have no idea how we met.
Yeah.
Welcome to this section of the video, confessionals. Time to confess your sins and spill the tea. Anything you want to share? It's very open-ended. You can say whatever you want.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna leave this to you. I'm sorry.
No. I think that most of the things that I've ever had to say, I have this like perpetual need to speak my mind at all times, right? So a lot of times that is seen as controversial. I think especially in spaces where people value like comfort over like speaking truth to like injustices or like unfairness in communities, right? And I think that the only thing that I would say is I think that it's really important as queer people that we continue to use our voices, right? Sometimes that does mean making like our friends and the people that we know uncomfortable, because sometimes our friends and the people that we love can make mistakes or they can do things that aren't right, you know? And I think it's important for us to hold our own community accountable at times, you know? Because I think a lot of times we have been seen as like controversial people and people who are like, oh, like they're drama starters or stuff like that, right? Because we have spoken up about spaces that we love or events that we love and things like that. But I think that as queer people, like we need to keep on growing and doing better. And sometimes that means saying like, oh, like I love this bar or I love this space or I love this event, but they should do better in including people of color or trans people or whatever the case may be, you know? So I think that that's my only real like tea, is that sometimes I think that I am very outspoken because as a person of color, I have experienced a lot of things that have been unfair, right? And as I've gotten older, I've kind of decided to take up the space where I will never allow people to make me feel like I should be quiet. And sometimes that can be perceived as whatever that might be perceived as.
Yeah.
No.
Welcome to the season of making white people uncomfortable. No,
100%.
just holding them accountable, goddammit.
100%. You know what I mean? I just think that for a lot of people, they have like had the privilege of like being comfortable, like saying things that are kind of out of pocket, that are sometimes microaggressions, that are sometimes transphobic. And I think that in this year of 2025 going into 2026, like we really should say no, like it's actually unacceptable. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you are not allowed to like, that people should be quote unquote canceled, whatever that means, right? But it means that if somebody says something shitty, we should be able to say like, actually, like you should do better. You know?
I agree. I am also very anti-cancel culture because there's only so many places queer people can go, and literally when we're fighting fascism in the streets, like we don't have the comfort to be able to alienate people right now. Like we need to be stronger as a community. So along those lines, how do you think that we move forward as a community when somebody does commit a wrong, like whether they do or do not apologize? Just how do we move forward when there are factions that keep breaking apart?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a big part of it is like the spaces themselves, right? I think that like we can't really control individuals in spaces all the time because like there's just no way to do that. Like our community is too big, there's too many people, all those things, right? But I do think that spaces have a responsibility to hold people accountable, whether that be like through like very hard conversations that sometimes we have to have, whether that be in public forums. I know that there's like things like Lookout that hold public forums to hold accountability, or whether it's just kind of like having those conversations with like leaders in community, you know? So I do think that we can't necessarily like you said, like, I mean, there's only so many places that queer people can go. So I don't think that canceling people is the right move, right? But I do think that if you hold a position as a community leader, or if you have like a bar space, like you do have the responsibility to continue to push yourself to do better.
Hell yeah. Anything to add?
I have to wait all 100%. I mean, we're on the same page about all of this, and I think you've been a little more visible in being vocal about it, like within our social media. But I mean, I'm obviously like behind you 100% on that, and I echo every word of it.
Yeah, I will add. I've had a lot of the same type of, I guess, reaction to y'all. Is I also get seen as controversial when I'm literally pointing out the bullshit that we have to deal with, and I'm like, do y'all want that? Or like, what are you trying to say by getting me to shut up? Like, I don't really understand, but that's just community. It's got a lot of different aspects to deal with it, and not everybody has access to therapy like I may or others may, so it's just interesting to navigate community in these times. The year of our Lord.
100%. I mean, I mean, ultimately, society is just one big social experiment, right? There is no right or wrong way to do it. We're all just learning. And I think that we do have to have some grace for each other. With that being said, I do think that for myself as like a person of color, I do have like some hard lines, right? Like, so for me, like white supremacy, hard line. Like, I don't know if there's any like productive conversation that can be had with somebody with like a white power tattoo or anything, you know? But that's my own like discomfort, right? Like, and that's my own bias based on my experiences as a person of color, you know, growing up somewhere like El Paso, where we did experience like the largest mass shooting against Latino Americans, you know? So I think that for myself, like, I'm like, I just don't really have a whole lot to contribute to a conversation about growth with somebody like that. But I also don't see it as a person of color's responsibility to like teach or like help people like that grow, you know? Like, I think that growth, first of all, has to come from within, and there has to be a level of accountability. Otherwise, there's just really nowhere to go from there.
Heard.
Yeah.
What's an embarrassing moment you've had in the Puphoods?
I don't think I I don't think I have any embarrassing moments.
Okay, you just live your life. The sun is shining.
100%.
Rainbow behind you.
I would say maybe a lot of secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, I'm pretty like, I'm pretty happy with the way that I present to the world, so I don't really feel that. I think that like once I hit 30, like I stopped feeling embarrassment because I'm just like, well, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, this life.
Yeah.
Any for you?
I mean, nothing really stands out. I think I'm like getting to a similar point where I don't like, embarrassment doesn't come naturally for me too much anymore, which is nice.
Nice.
And honestly, I feel way more embarrassed without the hood, like, regularly than with the hood on. So I can't think of anything in specific, which is nice.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is drag artists are just awkward and clumsy. Just kidding. Because literally, this question is meant for drag artists, and it's always like, oh, I accidentally poked somebody's eye, or I fell off stage, but you're perfect. Okay, I see. Okay. Do you have a funny moment in the pup hoods?
Yeah. So, one of the very first pup events we went to was out in Houston. So, like I said, I mean, we're from El Paso, so there's not a huge pup scene there. So, I mean, we would go out in pup hoods, but we were really the only two dogs that were involved in nightlife there. So, we didn't really have any other pups to, like, pup out with. But we visited Houston, and we ended up being there over a weekend where there was a pup night, and it just happened completely by coincidence. And we were at the leather bar there called Ripcord, and I remember we walked in, and there was a pup, and we're friends with him now. His name is Pup Ace, and his first, like, interaction with us, he, like, got our nose, and he flipped it inside out. So we looked goofy, and like, my first reaction was to, like, fix it, and he's like, no, you're supposed to shake it off, like, you're a dog. So, like, it's just, like, stay there, like, trying to shake your nose out. And now I do it to pups all the time, especially
Yes, like, we do that constantly.
Yeah,
Nice,
but
nice.
I love it. It's fun to watch dogs try to do it, because honestly, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to come out, like, by shaking, but it's fun to watch them try.
Yeah, sounds adorable. Is yours the same, or do you have a different story?
I mean, that would definitely be the same. I think that there have definitely been, like, funny moments throughout. We went to a, like, pride party at a, like, water park at one point in El Paso, and there was, like, a wave pool that we got in as dogs, and I mean, the photos of that are hilarious because we're freaking out over the waves as dogs.
Nice.
So, like, there's a lot of humor in a lot of it. Like, it's silly, it's not serious.
Yeah, it's just life. Like, take it easy.
Yeah.
Do you have any pet peeves in the pup scene?
I think that, like, my pet peeves in the pup scene are probably the same as, like, they were in drag, which is, like, touching without consent, right? And obviously, like, it's interesting because, like, I think that that's a conversation that happens a lot, right? And with, like, our friends and stuff, I'm like, oh, like, if my friend, like, touches my butt, like, I'm not, like, gonna freak out because, like, I'm like, oh, like, we know each other, you know? But I think that when strangers grab the leather or, like, grab the chain or, like, grab his butt or whatever, grab our ears, like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know you. Like, why do you think it's okay to touch strangers, you know? But I think that that kind of happens whenever you're something that's out of the ordinary. It's the same thing with, like, drag performers, right? Like, you have people trying to touch, like, drag queens' hair or their hips or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, don't touch people without consent. So that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves.
Agree, very much agree. What about you?
I would say when pups call their hoods their pup mask.
I'm sorry if I've said that.
No, you're fine. I don't feel weird about it when, like, people who aren't pups, like, call it that, because it is a mask. Like, that's the first thing you go to. But, like, if you're a pup, you probably know that it's a hood. Like, that's what everyone calls it. And it just feels like, well, are you actually a pup if you're wearing that, or did you just buy it for the costume of it and you don't really know that pups call it a hood? Yeah.
Fake pup.
Fake pup, yes. Tiny little puppy.
Any final words for the masses?
I mean, I think that pup play is definitely something that I recommend that people try. I think that it definitely is something that can be a little bit daunting just because there's so many pups and, like, so many of them kind of express being a pup in such different ways. But I do think that it's a really great community, and I always tell people that putting on a hood is so liberating. So, I mean, we let people try on our, because we have extra hoods and stuff, and we let people try them on all the time because I think that there's something about putting it on and like kind of feeling it on
Seeing
your face.
yourself
like,
in the mirror.
yeah, that like is super like liberating. So I would definitely recommend that if it's something that's ever interested you, or I mean the kink community in general, if it's something that's ever interested you, I definitely think it's worth like exploring a little bit because it is extremely liberating.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you?
And I mean, yeah, just all of that. I think like if you have curiosity over what is like the appeal of being a pup, even if it's not like an active curiosity, I think it's worth, you know, if you get the chance to put on a hood. I think that people would find themselves surprised at how much they like pretty instantly like realize the appeal of it, and also arf, all that. Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Of course.
Where can people find you?
Yeah. So we have a joint Instagram account. It is at Puppynoodz. That's Puppy Noodz. That's Instagram. We also have Twitter, and although we don't really use that very much, but it's up there. But we use Blue Sky. Those are not safe for work, so 18 over only, please. He also has.
I have my music account, which is at Coronis Sounds. And on all the streaming services is Coronis, and it's all me as a dog, so yeah.
Yay! Well, thank y'all both so much for doing this interview.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for
for having
having
us.
us.
We appreciate it.
Of course, it's been so good to get to know y'all, and very good job on your show today.
Thank you.
Go check out the music, and hopefully you can meet these good dogs at a show soon.
I am stupid, unfortunately.
Only a little bit. It's okay.
It's a problem.
So a lot of pups have packs, and in that pack there's like the same kind of dynamics.
Red. I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
No, you're fine.
Can you? I don't remember. We'll just do the first part.